All right. Welcome back to the Contrarians, everybody. We have a special episode of our showcase edition. Today we're actually talking to Tyler from LP Tremors. So welcome, Tyler. How you doing?
What's up? Thank you for having me. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us today. This is
Yeah,
actually going to
no,
be really
thank you.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Yeah, this is an awesome little segment you guys are doing. I love it.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for joining me today. This is going
Yeah.
to be interesting because I'm going to get to know you better and the viewers are going to get to know you better. And we're going to find out what makes you tick a little bit and your channel and what kind of content you
Nice.
have on your channel. So
Hell yeah. Yeah.
let me know when you're ready and we'll get into it.
Yeah, ready whenever you are, man.
So what first got you into music? Like what were your first like experiences with music that you remember? What made you like a lifetime, obviously you're a lifetime fan of music. You got vinyls and you have a collection.
Yeah.
And so where did
Oh
that start?
shit, that's a mouthful. But no, but I would say where it first started for me, I've been because music has been in my life since before I could walk. Um my dad, he's a huge diehard Aerosmith fan. More so in the 70s catalog, but long story short, he's a huge Aerosmith fan. So he always had, Rocks, Toys in the Attic, Draw the Line. He always had those albums playing in the house and in the car. And I don't know, I could have been about 4 or 5 where something clicked for me. And then Aerosmith was my life. So with Aerosmith, that really opened the floodgates to everything I know. So mainly going towards classic rock. So that opened my doors to bands like Led Zeppelin, UFO, Thin Lizzy, the Alice Cooper Group. List goes on and on. So they really opened the floodgates to what I know as classic rock. Then I kind of got into once I started got into Aerosmith and a bunch of these other bands. I started want to experiment with heavier music, and then that's when I really discovered my favorite band of all time, Iron Maiden. So once I discovered Iron Maiden, man, I was on cloud nine. My Aerosmith quickly turned to my Iron Maiden like that. Then I started with Iron Maiden. I started getting to heavier music. Then I started getting more into thrash, like Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer, whatever. And then I don't know. It just ever since then it just kept spiraling and spiraling. And now I'm a huge vinyl collector, and it's yeah, that's that's pretty much the cliff notes of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very cool. What made you decide to start your own channel?
Whew. So it's always been in my mind for a very long time to start, LP Tremors. But honestly, to tell you the truth, I for the longest time I just did not have the balls to do it. um, but yeah, it's always been in my head for the longest time. And then it was about I would say the COVID-19 pandemic really gained my interest even more. And with the pandemic, everything's closing down. We're all stuck in our house. That's when I really started discovering YouTube channels, like for example, Sea of Tranquility, you guys, Contrarians, um, a bunch of different other channels revolving around music and stuff like that. So that really, once I started watching those channels, like you guys, Sea of Tranquility, list goes on and on. But once I started watching those channels, my interest peaked even more and more. And then, but then like it was always in my head for a while, and then I started guesting on channels. So the first guest spot that I did on a YouTube channel, I got to know Ryan Gavalier. So I got to know Ryan very well, usually through Facebook, like Facebook groups that we're in, stuff like that. So I got to know him very well, and then long story short, he invited me to join a guest spot on something he was doing. That it was actually I don't know if you saw it, Marco, but it was like a Aerosmith series where he would basically, long story short, myself, Peter Jones, and Grant would, review every single Aerosmith record in their discography. So I kind of got lumped into that from Ryan, and then from there, my I was adamant that I was going to start a YouTube channel. So it was literally, yeah. So it was. I've had LP Tremors for about 5 months now, 5 6 months now, and I've just been loving it. It's been a great just outlet for me. I just love talking about music, talking about horror movies, which is another thing I do on LP Tremors. It's been a blast. So that's pretty much how LP Tremors got started.
Yeah, that's a huge task, like reviewing an entire discography from a band. And I
Yeah.
noticed on your channel, you're doing like a Friday the 13th kind of like
Yes.
episodic thing. So like where did the horror movie mix come in?
So the music portion was obviously my dad. My mom was actually the one who got me into horror movies. So she's deeply invested into paranormal stuff and always been into horror movies, mainly like in the classics like from the 60s, 70s, stuff like that. So I used to watch movies with her all the time ever since I was very, very little. So same thing with music. Horror movies have just been in my life for a very long time. And because I've gained so much of an interest for horror movies, that's when I really discovered another one of my favorite artists of all time, Alice Cooper. So once I discovered Alice Cooper, man, like the Alice Cooper group, his solo stuff, that's that's really got my gateway into Alice Cooper. But I know I'm kind of rambling here, but yeah, that's horror movies. It's been embedded in my life ever since same time as music, really.
Awesome. Do you have any favorite like movie soundtracks or horror movie soundtracks?
Whew, I do have a couple. Yeah, I do have a few right here. Right here. So this is this is from the original 1978 Halloween. Killer
Wow.
score, killer soundtrack, awesome stuff.
Is that from 1978?
No, this was actually a record store day release. This has
Oh,
never
cool.
been released on vinyl before. But I think this was like a 2018 record store day release. But there's that one. This one's really cool. And this was actually from I believe 1964. This is so Disney Studios released this. This is the chilling, thrilling sounds of a haunted house. I played the hell out of this during Halloween. Killer stuff. It's just a bunch of creepy scores. It's creepy soundtracks. That's really cool. And in speaking of Halloween, I do have this. So this is from the 2018 movie, from Halloween 2018. This is really, really badass. But yeah, I'll open it up for you guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, really awesome stuff here. But yeah, I have a few. Like I have a Nightmare on Elm Street one as well. I have Chucky, Child's Play. So I have a few little horror themed soundtracks here and there. But yeah, try
What's
to collect
some
as much as possible.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
What's something that you're very contrarian on?
Woo, God. All right. Um, like as far as music or artists or anything.
Anything.
Really?
Yeah, give me music and maybe something else. Maybe a horror movie or a horror movie contrarian opinion or give me a few.
Okay.
I don't
You
know.
know what?
If you
Yeah.
can think
No.
of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So yeah, I'll start with music. I'll just go with Aerosmith because I mentioned them before, and I'm very contrarian on my thoughts there. Done with Mirrors is in my top, probably my top three Aerosmith albums of all time.
Wow.
That album is a banger front to back. I adore the hell out of that album. But same thing. Iron Maiden. I'll go off with Iron Maiden. I adore the Fear of the Dark record and No Prayer for the Dying. That little like gray area where Bruce Dickinson was just about to leave the band. Adrian Smith was already gone. I adore those records to death. What else? What else? I know I have a ton of them. Yeah, I can't.
Do you have a horror movie?
It'll come to me. What's up?
Do you have a contrarian opinion on horror movies?
Sure. So yeah. So I'll actually do Friday the 13th. So obviously I'm doing that little series that you mentioned, where we're doing every single movie. We actually just recorded the video for Friday 13th Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan,
Nice.
and that movie is universally hated. It's usually like way at the bottom of
It's
a lot of
goofy,
folks'
man.
rankings.
He like doesn't
Yeah.
he uppercut somebody's head like right off and it
Yes.
goes into a
Yes.
basketball net or something?
Oh my god, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, that was probably the best scene of the whole movie. But anyway, that movie is I adore the hell out of that movie. Like if you guys saw the Friday the 13th Jason Takes Manhattan video that we did, I me both not only me but me and Ryan, we just praised this movie to death. But yeah. Another contrarian thing I can think of as of right now is going back to Alice Cooper, I adore the Blackout era of Alice Cooper. Like, for example, one of my favorite albums is actually Special Forces.
Very cool.
Yeah, Special Forces, Zipper
I
Catches
love that
Skin.
album.
Yes. Oh hell yeah. Even Dada. I love that. Or Flush with Fashion is another one of my favorites. You know, that whole Blackout era is absolutely badass. And actually, I'll give you another one. It's actually right behind me. Alice Cooper's From the Inside from
It's
'78.
your favorite album, right?
It's my favorite album of all time. I I play that album to ad nauseum. It's pretty much like a daily listen to me.
Yeah, it's a
For
little
me,
contrarian, but it's a good album.
extremely. Yeah, it's a fantastic
I
record.
like Goes to Hell a lot too. I
Goes to
like
Hell is
that
great.
era. I like that post Welcome to My Nightmare pre Blackout era a lot too.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
up until I'm a big Alice Cooper fan up until the 90s. Then I start
Oh
to lose
really?
interest. Yeah. So like I
So
even
like,
like the 80s stuff. Like the
okay,
late
all right,
80s. Yeah, late
all right.
80s.
Were you into like the recovery records like Constrictor, Raise Your Fist and Yell, stuff like that?
I do like stuff on those albums.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do
Okay,
like stuff on those albums for sure.
that's fair. Yeah,
Um
yeah.
um we know that you're a big horror movie fan. We know you love music. What's something we don't know about you?
Ooh. Um, One thing that I don't really mention too often on the channel because it's not really something I talk about often, but I'm a huge golfer. So I try to get out there and golf as much as I possibly can. So that's my second hobby right next to music and horror movies. So I'm a huge big time golfer. I'm also, as far as work goes, I'm a licensed EMT provider or an EMS. I work in EMS, so I work on just a department nearby. But I've been doing that for about a year and a half, I would say. But yeah, those are a few things that I don't really get into much often. But yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Um
And I'm a huge. I mean, going back to music a little bit, I'm a huge guitar player as well. I write my own music. I write my own lyrics, stuff like that. So not only do I listen to music and worship music, I also play and write my own stuff. And
what
I've been
style of
doing that for a
music do
very
you
long
play?
time. I'm all over the place. So mainly what I really gravitate towards is a lot of progressive stuff. Like I find my as far as my writing goes, I kind of dig into I if I was to name my own sound, I would say like a Rush-ish sounds kind of. So like a lot of like the '70s progressive rock stuff, but I'm all over the place. Like I've written some thrash stuff, I've written some, folky acoustics driven stuff. I'm all over the place. So it's really hard to say, but I'm yeah.
Very cool. Do you I can see you have a record collection. Do you have a film collection too?
I do have a film collection. I have a variety of different horror movies and stuff like that. Absolutely. It's way on the other side of the room, but yeah, it's I do have a pretty lengthy collection of horror movies and stuff. Um but my vinyl collection is probably the biggest, but I do collect as much films as I possibly can.
Are you like a Blu-ray or like a DVD guy?
Whatever I can get my hands on. If it looks cool, then I'm gonna get it. I don't really care if it's Blu-ray or HD or really high quality. It could be something with high production value, or it could be just something down in the dumps at the flea market for a couple bucks. So whatever I can really get my hands on. I'm the type where I get multiple copies of things. So for example, like I have a few movies where I have Blu-rays and then I have some cheap flea market type stuff. So it's all over the place. Whatever I can really get my hands on.
Do you have any VHS?
Oh, I do have a few VHS. I do.
Cool.
Not really, not necessarily something I gravitate towards, but yeah, I do have a few VHS tapes. Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that, I guess, more recent trend of a lot of kind of unknown horror movies that were maybe only released on VHS are worth like hundreds of dollars or like $100? Any thoughts on that? Any favorite unknown horror movies?
Ooh, God, I. That's a tough one. I, I, sh- I kind of disagree where that they should be like $100, $200. That's just ridiculous for a movie. But then again, I'm cheap. but as far as my some obscure stuff that people don't really talk about. Like I like a lot of Italian horror and or French horror. Those stuff are cool. Like one of my favorite directors, Dario Argento. I love watching some Dario Argento stuff. But like I said, I'm just very all over the place. So I like a lot of like the international stuff that that's why I really gravitate towards.
Are you a fan of Full Moon Entertainment?
Oh God, those those are probably the shittiest types of movies, but I love them to death. They're so freaking entertaining. Oh my
Very
God,
cool.
Full Moon Entertainment. Yeah, that's
There's some good ones, man. I
there's
love
some
the
really
Puppet
good
Master
ones.
series.
The Puppet Master series. Oh my God, yes. Yeah, that's one of my favorite series of all time.
Awesome.
That's good. Yeah, the first one, Stone Cold classic.
Do you have a holy grail? And what is it? And do you own it?
What do you mean?
Like a holy grail in your collection? Is there a piece that's like your piece that you really need in your collection, or something that you finally got in your collection that's like, if you were going to lose everything, it's the one thing you would keep?
That's the one thing I would
Or
keep.
is there
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the one album that you've been dying to get your hands on, but it's just out of your reach because it's really rare or it's really expensive? Or
Yeah. Okay. So it's as far as an holy grail goes, because I have so many, but one thing that I really got that really piqued my interest. Excuse me, 1 second. Right here. Okay. So this album is so freaking rare to find. You can't find a copy of this anywhere. As far as what I've seen, I stumbled upon this at a local record shop. This is an original pressing of this classic. Freak out.
nice,
Yeah. So
awesome.
this is this definitely this is a classic record. This is my favorite Mothers of Invention album. Probably my favorite Zappa record, to be honest with you.
Wow,
I love this record to death. Yeah, but
that's a little
that's
contrarian.
a little bit, right? Yeah. I don't know, something about I just love it's so psychedelic. It just does whatever the hell it wants. I love this
Yeah,
record.
I love the
Great,
doo-wop
great stuff.
stuff. Go cry on
Yes,
somebody
yeah.
else's shoulder.
Yes,
Brain
yes.
Police. Brain Police is
Brain
on there, right?
please. Yep, yep. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Very cool. I love Frank Zappa.
Oh, me too, man. Me
That's
too.
awesome.
Yeah.
Do you
But
do you
I
collect? Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you collect like other formats too, like cassette or 8-track or anything like that?
Yeah, so I do have some cassettes as well. I do have a lengthy CD collection as well. The CD collection is something I've just kind of got into at a very young age, just buying CDs left and right. The vinyl, as far as collecting vinyl, that's actually 2 years in the works. So I started about Christmas of 2020 collecting vinyl, but I do have some cassettes and I do have a pretty solid CD collection as well.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yep.
I have some quick yes or no, this or that questions. Like I'll give you like a
Hell yeah.
selection. You can pick one or the other. You can give me like a quick answer, or you can actually explain your answer, whatever
Yeah.
you feel comfortable doing. Are you
Yeah,
ready?
sure, let's do it. Yeah.
I know you're doing an Iron Maiden series. I haven't seen it. I haven't watched any
Okay.
of them. But are
Yeah.
you an Iron Maiden debut or Killers?
Debut. I'm a big debut guy. I love Killers, and if you guys happen to see my Iron Maiden series, I do praise Killers quite a bit, but man, there's something about that debut that's just perfect. It sits so right with me. But yeah, I'm a debut guy.
Do you follow Paul Di'Anno's solo career at all? And what's your favorite Paul Di'Anno project, if you do?
Um, I don't really, to be honest, I don't really follow much of Deano's solo stuff. I've heard it, and what I've heard I like. That's just something that for some reason I don't really have a reason for it, but that's a discography I haven't really dove deep in. But I've heard the stuff, and the stuff I've heard I like a lot.
Jason in Space or Hellraiser in Space?
Jason X. Jason X.
That was Hellraiser Bloodlines was the one where they go to space, right?
Yep, that's Hellraiser Bloodlines. Yep, yep.
Hellraiser's insane. That's an insane. Those
That's
first
oh
two
my
movies
god,
are
dude.
insane.
Dude, it's
That's a
I can't.
nightmare.
I love the Hellraiser movies. The first one's probably my favorite, but yeah, those first two movies, they're just bad shit crazy.
Did you
So,
see okay, here's one just off the top
yeah.
of my head. Uh the new Pinhead or the new Freddy Krueger? Like the new actor. Which one did you prefer?
Ooh. Oh, you mean like in the remakes?
Yeah. Like the
Yeah.
like the Hellraiser remake with the
Oh,
new
okay.
Pinhead actor or the new Freddy Krueger actor? The guy who played
Yeah.
Rorschach in
Yep. Yep.
Watchmen,
Yep.
right? Was
Watchmen.
the
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger?
Uh,
Which one did you prefer? Which
so
performance did you prefer, I guess?
okay. Yeah. So this is a tricky one for me because I prefer the new Hellraiser movie because I can't stand the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. But I do prefer Jack Earl Haley's portrayal of Freddy Krueger
Hmm,
over the new Hellraiser.
interesting.
So yeah, it's but I can't stand the the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. But I do Jack Earl Haley's performance as Freddy Krueger is the only redeemable quality of that movie.
Gotcha.
So yeah, yep,
Jason or Jason's mom?
that's a tough one. Um, I'll say this. So Jason's mom is I think I she is a lot scarier than Jason.
Hmm.
However, because but Jason we've obviously seen way more of Jason than Jason's mom. I don't know. I would have to say Jason's mom just because she has more
Wow.
personality and she's honestly scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, now that you
She like
mention it.
in that first movie in that third act, she is bad shit. The way she would just talk to herself, "Kill her, mommy, kill her," and, eh, I don't know. And she like she gave off like a very realistic type of type of bad shit other than besides Jason. So I don't know. I think I would go with Jason's mom, but that's a tough one. That's really tricky.
Nice.
Yeah.
This one, you kind of touched on this earlier, so I might know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
Sweet.
Alice Cooper's first two albums or the Blackout era?
Blackout. Yeah, definitely Blackout. I like the first two records. Easy Action I do find very underappreciated. Um Praise for You is not bad. You know, it's not necessarily the most memorable, but it's not bad. Easy Action, I do like Easy Action, but something about those Blackout records, Flush the Fashion, Special Forces, those records just there's something about those records that they're just perfect. So yeah.
Maiden's live show or Alice Cooper's live show?
Oh God. Um, that's wow. So you know what's funny? I actually saw Iron Maiden and Alice Cooper on the same bill. Alice Cooper
Wow,
opened with
cool.
Maiden. Yeah, that's when they were doing like the Maiden England thing. But
I've seen them each separately.
oh yeah. I would have to. Oh God. Oh, I would have to go with Damn, Iron Maiden by a hair, maybe. Just because Iron Maiden's my favorite band of all time, but that's very close. That's but I guess I would have to go Iron Maiden on that one.
Any
So,
particular tour in mind? Like any
that I've
particular
seen.
stage set
Oh, you mean that I've seen or just in general?
that you've seen or that you like what Iron Maiden, I guess, stage or stage show was is like their most
Oh, I see.
iconic,
I
or
see.
what would you give them the edge with?
Okay. I would probably the World Slavery Tour was pretty badass. You know, the like live after death era, that was a killer stage show. So that was awesome. I love the Seventh Son as well. And I've seen clips and pictures of the Somewhere in Time stage show and that I mean that looks phenomenal as well. But I would have to go if I was to have to pick a top one, I'd probably go World Slavery Tour like
Cool.
during the live after death era.
I saw them in 2017. Is that the
Oh, okay.
Book of Souls
Oh,
tour?
that would be. I saw that tour. Yeah, that was
It's the
Book
one
of
where he
Souls.
ripped, I think he ripped the heart out of Eddie and like
Yep,
squished it on stage or something. He was running
that was it.
around and yeah, that
Yes,
was nuts,
yes,
man. That was,
yeah,
yeah, that was
yeah.
crazy.
Did when you saw that, did Ghost open for
I
that
don't
show?
remember. I don't know because I didn't actually what are your thoughts on Ghost? But
I love
I
Ghost.
honestly just discovered them through Brett. Brett told me to check them
Really,
out a while ago. Yeah.
really.
I
Shit.
I had heard of them, but I didn't really start listening to them until recently,
Yeah,
like in the
yeah.
last few since like September. But what are your
Wow.
thoughts on Ghost?
So
They seem right up your
Ghost.
alley.
Yeah. So and the thing is with Ghost, a lot of people shit on them. That's a band that really gets you either love them or you absolutely hate them. Me, I absolutely love them. I adore everything Ghost represents, and I really, and this is a little contrarian because if you talk to a Ghost fan, they kind of dig into the first two records. I'm the type where I am really digging what they're doing now. Like it's very like Blue Oyster Cultish. I always got a Blue Oyster Cult thing from their more their modern day stuff. From the last three records. Those last three records. So we got Meliora, Prequel, and Imperium. I adore those records to death, and I love the first two records as well. The first two records, it's kind of like a King Diamond-ish type of thing, or Merciful Fate. But the Meliora, Prequel, and Imperium, they kind of have that more Blue Oyster Cult thing. They're kind of getting into more synth stuff, or it reminds me of like Duran Duran if it was a horror movie. I don't know. I just find that pretty badass. So I love Ghosts. I love Ghosts. I have zero issues with them.
Yeah, now you got me thinking if I saw them.
Yeah,
I thought that
because
sounds now that you mentioned it, that sounds familiar that they opened.
yeah, because the show I saw, it was around 2017, so Book of Souls tour. Ghost opened for Maiden.
Yeah,
That's when I
I
saw
gotta
them. I don't
look
know
that
about you,
up.
but yeah,
Yeah. Depends on who I go with. Honestly, sometimes it bums me out because I like to see the whole show.
me too.
Sometimes when I go with certain people, they don't like to show up
Me too.
early when the opening
Yeah,
act is on, right?
yeah,
Me, I'd like to
yeah,
see the whole thing, but it just depends on who I went with. I know who I went with that day, and those are
yeah.
typically folks who don't care about the opening act. So I don't know if I even saw them, if even if I didn't know who they
Wow.
were at the time. But okay, here's one that I thought of while we were talking.
Let's go.
Torch or six shooter?
Torch or six? Oof. I have to say Torch.
Nice call.
Torch. That's another tough one, but I'm going with Torch on that one.
Yeah, he's cool as
Oof.
shit, eh?
Yes. Oh
Torch is cool.
hell yeah. Oh
I
my
kind of
god.
think I like Puppet Master 3 a little bit better than 2, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
might
yeah.
agree with you because Torch is
Oh
cool.
yeah.
And Torch
Torch is
didn't
so
come back for a
badass.
while after that. They
Oh
kind
yeah?
of
Yeah,
retired
yeah,
him
no,
after 2.
it kind of retired. Yeah,
He came
yeah.
back at number 5 or something, but I kind of like
Something.
I like the first 3 a lot. And then there's the
Yeah.
4 and 5, I don't mind. And then
Yeah.
after that, like 6 and
Yeah.
retro Puppet Master, all those ones I don't really care about. And I've never seen
Right.
some of the newest ones, but anyway.
No, no.
Did you name LP Tremors after the movie Tremors?
Actually, no. So to tell you the truth, like it's not necessarily a fascinating story, but it's on because the original name for LP Tremors before it became LP Tremors, I had the idea of Horror Rising as my channel name, mainly taken after my love for horror movies, so horror and Rainbows Rising. So I
Nice.
kind of lumped that together, Horror Rising. I
Awesome.
was dealing with that a little bit, but I don't know, something didn't fit the mouth right, so I don't. To tell you the truth, I don't know how the hell I came up with LP Tremors. It's just something that I kind of thought of. Like, I was kind of like toying with different names. I was sitting right here on my couch. I'm like thinking. I'm like LP. So vinyl is there's something I can do with that. Oh, LP. So LP. Then Tremors. So I was thinking like LP Terror, but then I'm like, Tremors sounds pretty cool. So LP Tremors. It's not necessarily a fascinating story, but just something I kind of came up with at the top of my head.
Oh, it sounds awesome. Like it's an awesome name.
Thank you.
Why
Thank
don't
you.
you let us know like where we can find you and what you got coming up?
Yeah, so I do have my channel LP Tremors, talk all things vinyl records and horror. So you can just find me right on YouTube. I am currently starting up a Facebook page dedicated for LP Tremors. So that's kind of in the works. I'm doing that in the process. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So Facebook, YouTube, that's pretty much it. You can follow me on my personal Facebook too, Tyler Hagopian. Friend request me, whatever.
Very cool. Tyler, thank you for joining us today. Thanks for
Yeah.
letting us get an inside look at yourself and LP
Yeah.
Tremors. And anybody out there watching, if you're a fan of Contrarians, like go follow LP Tremors. Tyler, you'll see some familiar faces on there. Tyler's a
Probably,
cool
yeah.
dude. He's got some amazing
Thank you.
videos on there. And, we're creating this content for free. If you can go and give Tyler a like and subscribe, I'm sure he'll appreciate it. And it doesn't take
Probably.
much from you. And if you want to like and subscribe us too as well, that'd be cool too. And we'll see y'all next time. Thanks,
Take it
everyone.
easy, guys. Thank you.